I did indeed just pour my yerba mate into my tea mug. It's more aesthetic, obviously. Alright, January is over. It's like the second week of February now, I think, and I'm filming my little January wrap-up. But I just wanted to make sure that I had everything. That's a lie. I'm just getting around to doing it. So I wanted to tell you guys about the things that I was doing this month, the books I read, movies I watched, and yeah, I think that's about it. The things I bought, because I'm still trying to be mindful of my purchases. I told my mom about this. I don't think I mentioned it in my 2026 like outlook video, but I am wanting to be more mindful in my purchases in like I want to make sort of one big purchase a month, because I feel like before I have the money, I have the job, I'm able to buy this thing, so I'm just gonna buy it. And I noticed that I was doing that not terribly frequently, but frequently enough that it made me question, if I quit doing that and I held on to that money, what could I save that money to do in the future? So I'm going to show you the two things that I bought besides coffee and food, the two things that I bought this month, and what I've been using them for. And yeah, so just a little update on life for the month of January. I don't really know, what to start with. First, I guess I'll say that January was a normal month. I got to go down to Florida and visit some of my friends down there. Had a fun time. That was at the very beginning of the month, very beginning of the year, so that was a lot of fun. I always enjoy seeing them. Went to work a lot, did a lot of climbing, went to a sort of women's climbing meetup at the gym that I go to, which was a lot of fun. Met a lot of cool people. I think we have our next meeting next week, so that was super fun. Excited about that. Just having people within that environment that I feel like I can talk to and reach out to, and having people that do the same thing as you is just really fun, and a community in any way is always a fantastic thing to have. Here in Nashville, and in a lot of other places I know, but here in Nashville, I think a leaf just fell off of one of my plants just right in front of me. That's okay. I'll take care of that one later. We had a very large snowstorm. Was stuck inside my house for a week. We didn't have power for a week. I know a lot of people didn't have power for longer than that. And it was just an incredible thing to witness, honestly, everything that was happening around here. I took advantage of that time and I did a lot of reading by the fireplace. We cooked all of our food on like a camping stove. We had to boil water to do everything. It was just an interesting experience, but we got through that. But like I said, I used that time to do a lot of reading and playing a game on my Switch. I have a Nintendo Switch, one of the light ones. And I guess at the end of last year I purchased the Tales of the Shire, which is a little like game you get to play as a hobbit. So cute. You forage, you garden, you cook people meals, and you invite people over for dinner. It's my ideal life, honestly. So I played a lot of that, and because I would read during the day when the light was out, but then when the sun would go down I couldn't really read unless I was, 5 inches from the fireplace, or had a headlamp on, so that was a sight to see. so I played my game a lot more in the evenings. Anyway, all that to say, I was going to show you guys the books that I finished up in January, or that I read and finished up in January. I have to move things around. Things stacked wrong. So first, this year I wrapped up my fourth reread, fourth time reading. This Is How You Lose the Time War by Max Gladstone and Amal El-Mutar. I am a ride or die for this book. I love it so much. I have highlighted and underlined and have so many dog-eared pages in this book. I think that, let me give, a little synopsis of it. It is a sci-fi following two agents during the Time War. They belong to two different entities, sort of. One side is called Agency, who Red belongs to, and then Blue belongs to Garden. And pretty much the Time War is the agents themselves go and sort of rewrite time in certain places to allow either Garden to be the like overarching like world that they live in the future, or Agency. So you're either going to have the really earthy side in the future or the really technological side in the future. But it is a story of war, but it's also a love story. And it is just, it's one of the most incredible books I've ever read in my life. I do think that the writing is very flowery, and I think some people dislike it a lot. Very poetic, but I just think it's so unique and an incredible way to write and depict love and love in the time of war. It's incredible and one of my all-time favorite books. It's just, yeah. So if you ever are interested in reading it, I would absolutely highly recommend this one. So after I finished up This Is How You Lose the Time War, I got to read a book that I've been anticipating for a long time because I've heard fantastic things about it, and that is 84 Charing Cross Road by Helene Hanff. I was invited to a private browsing at a bookstore here in Nashville. Last year they had a challenge sort of thing going on in the shop, and if you bought, they had themes for the months, and if you bought a book in that theme every month, then you got prizes at the end, and we got to go to a little private browsing, just a little sort of party get-together thing as a thank you for participating. And I picked up these two books. I picked up Upstream by Mary Oliver. I absolutely love Mary Oliver's poetry, and I've always wanted a little bit more long form work from her, so I'm excited to get into this later. But this was another one that I picked up that I had wanted to read for a really long time, and it is just charming. It is absolutely fantastic. It is a non-fictional account of letters from Helene Hanff to a bookstore in England, and it is just, it's funny and heartwarming and just so great. I've always loved epistolary books at all that are written in letters, and that's also what This Is How You Lose the Time War is, written in letters majority. I think it's such a fun way to follow people because you really get to know them as a person, see not only how they talk but how they write, because I think that's such an interesting thing. If you have the time to sit down and really pick out the words you want to use, what words you're using and what order you're using and how are you describing things. So this was an incredible little short novel that I read, or not novel I guess, but a little short book that I read during the snowstorm as well, so that was fantastic. Next, it's the year of rereads for me, apparently, because I reread 2 books in January, and then I'm currently rereading another book right now. But my second reread in January was my first time rereading Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. I absolutely adore this book. I feel like I've had a really good reading year so far because I haven't stopped smiling talking about these books, but this book I love it so much. I know there are some people that don't like it, as with every book ever, but I love this book so much. I wanted something just cozy and relaxing, but that was very like fantasy forward, also during our snowstorm time. And this absolutely hit the spot for me. If you don't know what Legends of Lattes is about, it is about Viv, who is an orc. A retired orc is putting down her sword and wants to build a coffee shop in the city of Thune, and Thune has never seen or heard of coffee before in their lives. So this orc is bringing coffee to a city, a very lucky city. But yeah, this is one of the special edition copies. A friend gave it to me last year for Christmas. How beautiful is that? And then of course they have the snow-covered city. Absolutely fantastic. I love this book so much. And if you haven't read it and you love cozy things, if you would like to be a hobbit, this is probably a book for you. But just an incredible one and a great start to the year again. And the big boy for the year that I have finished, took me quite a while, that is Alchemized by Senlin Yu. I read this book in its original format 4 or 5 years ago now, and I was very unsure about whether or not I would pick it up as a trad published book, but I'm glad I did. I knew that it was a story that when I read it the first time, it really stuck with me and it really moved me, and it really moved me again reading it the second time. I guess I could give a brief synopsis of this one. This book is following Helena, who is a nurse, sort of, in the war. And it is post-war. Her side has lost, and she wakes up with no memory of the last 18-19 months of her life. The last 18-19 months of the war. She has no memory of pretty much the last 2 years of her life. And so the whole book is pretty much her trying to figure out, while in captivity, she's trying to figure out what she doesn't remember, why does she have it hidden, and that is also what the other side is trying to find out, is what have they hidden that is so important deep inside this woman's brain. Yeah, it is a very tragic story. I know that in most bookstores it is in the romance section, and while there is romance involved, I would not classify it as a romance at all. I think it is a war story and it is tragic. I wouldn't label it romance, but that's, either way, absolutely incredible book. I tabbed the crap out of it. Missed the middle because I didn't have my tabs when I read the second part, but that's okay. I'll probably go back and read it again at some point, but it's a great book. I think I ended up giving it a 4-star. My only complaint with this book was the third part of it. It's broken up into 3 parts, and I read it like a little bit of a psychopath. I read part 1 and then part 2, and then I read part 1 again, and then I read part 3. But the third part just, I think after reading everything that had gone wrong for the 2 main characters in this book, for everything to have just come so easily in the third part and have no hiccups, no problems, no troubles at all, everything just sort of flowed. It felt like a different story entirely. It didn't feel realistic, it didn't feel like it was in the same world. And maybe I'm just looking for that devastation, but everything just felt too easy, and it felt like the book wrapped up too simply for the complexity of the story. But alas, still an incredible book. 4 stars from me, but it was I won't say a good one to start off the year because it's not the happiest book, but it was good. I really love like detrimental things in books. I don't know, I guess everyone says that, but I really, you know, you need devastation, and that book provides it. So it was good in my brain, my world. It was good. I liked it. Anyway. I guess I'll just sort of give you a brief little update on what I'm reading right now. Currently, I have going The Two Towers, Lord of the Rings. Absolutely love this world. Love this story. It's incredible. I still haven't watched the movies though, so I'm reading all of them before I watch the movies. This is my first time reading them before I watch the movies, so I'm very excited to see everyone come to life on screen. Of course, I know what most of them look like, but I'm excited to wrap this series up. I don't know when I'm going to wrap it up. I'm not rushing myself on The Return of the King, but yeah. So this is what I'm currently reading. I won't give a synopsis of that because I feel like if you know what it's about, you know what it's about, and if you don't, they've been out long enough that you should. My next reread that I was talking about, the one that I'm currently reading, is Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. When it was so icy and snowy outside, this book would not leave my mind. So when I wrapped up Legends and Lattes, I picked this one up. And I love this book. I have read this book and Uprooted by Naomi Novik. I don't think I've read any others. No, I have A Deadly Education on my shelf, but I have not read it yet. But this is a sort of dual timeline. It's actually like a triple, and it just adds a bunch of point of views, but kind of a triple timeline book following Miriam, who is the daughter of a moneylender, a very bad moneylender, so she takes it into her own hands to get the people of the town to pay her back. And then you get the point of view of Wanda, who is another girl living in the same town as Miriam, who goes to work for Miriam's family. And then you have the POV of the Duke's daughter, who also ends up interacting with Miriam in a way. But it's a lot about, to me, what I got from this book the first time, what I'm getting again, it's a lot about the power of women and men that underestimate women. They think that just because they're men that they are capable of doing whatever they want to, and these women show them that that is not quite true. But this is a very snow and ice packed fantasy book, and I love this book. It's one of my favorites as well. When I read it, I definitely preferred this one to Uprooted, but yeah, when I read this one for the first time, I was in love with it. I read it so quickly. This one's taken me a little bit longer, but that's just because it's so full of wonderful writing, and I love it so much. So that's one I'm currently reading again. And then I'm also currently reading The 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Harrow. Alex E. Harrow has become one of my favorite writers, I would have to say. Everything I've read by her, I've absolutely adored. And this book is following, I picked it up in January because I was like, oh, The 10,000 Doors of January, I have to read it in January. Not quite the case. The main character's name is January. Might have known that if I had read the synopsis, but I didn't. I just trust Miss Harrow at this point. But this book is following January, who starts as a little girl and she grows up, and basically, if you've read The Starless Sea, it's a similar, follows a similar plot line, I would say. January finds a door in the middle of the woods as a young girl, and the rest of her life she is sort of searching for these doors, and doors pop up. And I think this one seems to be also a dual timeline of doors popping up for different people and where they find the doors and what the doors do and where they lead and what they're about. And so I'm really enjoying this one. I've been looking forward to reading this one for a while. I didn't even know what it was about, but I knew it was Alex. So, but yeah, loving this one. So those are the books that I'm reading right now. Yeah, so it's been a great reading year so far. But that's just the reading, and it's only February, so we'll see where we go from there. So my next little topic that I wanted to discuss was I wanted to share with you guys all of the movies that I watched this past month. I didn't watch a whole lot. I did a lot more reading, I think, but I want to share anyway. Me and my family, we watched the whole Jason Bourne series. We watched the whole Bourne Identity franchise. I liked them. I enjoyed them. I don't really have anything else to say other than that. I wanted to try and review movies like to my fullest potential this year, but I don't know that there's much that you can say about an action franchise sometimes, so I don't have anything more to say than I liked them. I think that I didn't love, what is it, the Bourne Legacy? I understand why it was there, but I didn't. I would say that was probably my least favorite, but other than that, that's all I got. A movie that I absolutely loved that I watched this month for the first time was The Secret World of Arrietty. I have always loved Ghibli. I like saying Ghibli. I don't know what it is. Ghibli. I've always loved that franchise of movies, and The Secret World of Arrietty why haven't I watched it sooner? It was incredible. I've always been a fan of miniature things, but seeing that, it was like, that is my dream, to live inside of a dollhouse. That is so, it was just incredible, and I absolutely loved the movie. I thought that Arrietty was a fantastic character herself, fearless and willing to go outside of the norm. I thought it had a good ending too. I wasn't upset about that at all. And I want to ride in a teapot. I think I said this on my Letterboxd review as well, that I know Bridget Mendler voiced her in the American version, but the Bridget Mendler song at the end threw me for a loop. But anyway, the movie was incredible. Shortly after that, I watched Alex Honnold's movie, Free Solo, the documentary that they did about him climbing El Capitan in, was it like 2018, 2019, 2018 maybe? Incredible movie. Incredible, but we watched it as a precursor to Skyscraper Live, because I obviously had to watch him climb a skyscraper, so that was incredible to watch. And I love Alex Honnold. I'm a really big fan. I think that he's an incredible person. The work that he's doing for the world itself as well with solar energy, that's incredible. So yeah, fantastic guy to watch and hear him talk about anything. So that was really cool. And then lastly, we watched The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, one of my favorite of the Hunger Games movies. Like I said, I'm gonna read them this year. I'm gonna read them. My coworkers at work keep bugging me too because they want to talk about Sunrise on the Reaping, and I obviously have not read it because I haven't read any of them yet. But so I'm gonna get around to it. But I absolutely adore that movie. The soundtrack is everything. It's just, that's an incredible movie to me. I love that movie so much. I think seeing the descent of someone who starts out so good and seeing just the little things that if they deem them okay in their mind, that anything can dissolve from that, and it's the times we live in. Anyway, on to a lighter note. I was going to share with you guys the 2 big purchases that I made this month, also having to do with climbing, Alex Honnold. I think I mentioned in this video that I have started rock climbing, and so I go to the gym quite often. But I made the decision this past month to invest in my climbing, and instead of just using the rental stuff that comes with my membership, I made some little purchases. So first I bought my own climbing harness. It's red because red is one of my favorite colors. So yeah, here's my little climbing harness with my climb tag on it. And then I bought my own pair of shoes. They're a very beginner pair, but I love them. I wanted to get as close to the color red as I could. I had a little mishap with some shoes. I ordered some that were way too small, so I had them sent back, and then I got these at the gym. But so I've been really enjoying that hobby of mine, and I've been going to yoga there as well. I'm really enjoying that. Just overall a good community building place. I feel like I've met a lot of people there, a lot more than I figured that I would. And it's just been a great thing for me and my confidence and my physical body and just everything. So yeah, it's been a great year so far. And one more thing aside from the things that I purchased for myself, I wanted to give a shout out to Charlie, a pal over in the UK. I don't know where you're at right now. But Charlie so kindly sent me some fountain pens. I have never used fountain pens before in my life, and unfortunately, thanks to him, I am a little spoiled now, and I don't really want to write with anything else, so I might have to find a refillable fountain pen, find a good one for myself. But I am absolutely loving these, so thank you so much, Charlie. I don't know if I've even told you thank you. No, I have told you thank you, I think. I don't know. But thank you so much, because I've really been enjoying these. But yeah, it's been a great month. Hope it continues to be a great year. Hope we can continue to see some movement within our government and maybe some change happen. But just keep taking care of yourself, keep resting, keep fighting the system, and yeah, take care of yourself and one another. Read good things, watch good things, do good things, and I hope you continue to have a great year. Okay, bye. I never know how to end these. Anyway.